on stream, of course, they are known as that top team right now in APAC South, and they're contesting for it across all of Asia. So, yeah, really, really good to see them out here, but I expect a strong start from them as well. Maybe actually going to be Asia Manji, though. That's an incredibly close first attempt. I really wish I'd seen that go in.
Yeah, it hurts to not get that goal in. Every goal is going to be crucial against Alke. Every goal against is going to be hard to bring back from. So it would have been nice for Asia Manji to get off to such a good start, but now Alke will have a little bit of room here to recoup and maybe even take an attack of their own. LCT was coming in hot there.
40 is on this again. 40 is, of course, as we mentioned, the name here that everybody is more likely to know, and I do expect him to step up to the plate here if Asia Manji even get a look in, and I do think that he could be the man to surprise us. I think they are a team that's already surprised us and are one of those teams that will continue to throughout the season.
Oh yeah, I guess we haven't even talked too much about the individual players on Alke, but there is some real history to Balleriz in particular. He's been playing the game since it came out, 2015, from Singapore all the way onto the OCE servers, been a mainstay at the top of ranked for a very long time, competing on high ping, and that's where he's really grinded his teeth and managed to get to that next level. Max, a very, very strong player, and LCT is a real ranked grinder nowadays. He's kind of more recent to that scene of the OCE ranked grind that we see from many players in that APAC region.
Yeah, LCT is a player who tries very hard and not in a bad way. He's really explored his options, and it's good to see him stick with Asia here to RLCS and come through in that former 3 Rats team, coming through with the name Alke on them now, and Alke GG's going to be very strong here, though I totally expected by now, almost halfway through this game, that Alke would have made a goal. I don't know if they're going a little easy here on Asia Manji, but like was said earlier by Boyo, I think it was, they are going for the absolute run of their lives. They do not want to miss a game here.
Oh, for sure, and it's going to take a little time to warm up. You want to still feel out your opponent. I would worry about Alke if they were to underestimate Asia Manji and go in and just go all guns blazing. They do miss another one, and it's left an opening here. Can Kevin get the angle? Just couldn't get past it.
It is a good pass up, though, and might give them another opportunity if they can get onto the pressure fast enough. No, it's going to escape. LCT, a boom over one, but Kevin, a great save there to keep them safe. As we look at the last 2 minutes of play here, I am so shocked to see no goals come out of this. It's really, really good to see Asia Manji competing at this level. You know, one thing that I hadn't considered until this moment is the fact that Asia Manji are probably likely to play a lot of ground game. Alke love it in the air.
If that's the case, then might be difficult for Alke. We've seen them through multiple of their qualifier series play flippery sets, go off the roof a lot.
Oh.
And we're already seeing it very grounded coming out from Asia Manji, another opportunity. And as you said, very surprising that we haven't seen a goal, not just because of Alke at that other end, but also Asia Manji have struggled to find that net. There's been these openings, another infield pass, but nobody really there from Asia Manji to receive.
And as much as it has been a very grounded game, Asia Manji are playing it very, very well. I mean, they are proving without a doubt, even in their first match, why they were able to make the top 8. And again, just barely a save there for Dan.
Very controlled series, but LCT is going to take some of that control away. Max!
Oh.
He's now hit the post. No one's going to go off the crossbar. And it gets saved out from LCT shot. Again off the post. That's 4 in a row.
What has this post got against Asia? We saw it yesterday with 1&E. I think they put about 15 shots off post. We saw it earlier in a number of our matches come into play in a big way, but it might be the best defender in Asia right now if Squirrel weren't already the holder of that title.
Oh no, both of these teams have not scored just purely because of the post. We've seen about 7 of them in this one game. And this is going to be a problem. Though that finally may go in. Just gets saved out. And they'll let this hit the ground. A 0-all overtime when Alke's involved is very surprising. Not just because of their ability to score, but because they do like to play very aggressive and sometimes leave the net open themselves.
Well, Reese, that's a good challenge, but Dan might actually be able to get some possession here. Ooh, it was a dangerous position there for a moment for Alke. They do get away with it, though, and it's coming upfield, and it's amazing how consistently Asian Manji are able to clear out, and I think largely it's to do with the fact that Alke are going for big shots. A lot of their booming shots, if they do not reach the back of the net, can end up clearing out for the opponents.
And some of the biggest upsets in Rocket League history has always been down to a team playing like Asia Manji are right now. Being able to get crazy saves on the line, always being able to meet the shot as it happens, and then just scoring that one goal when it's most needed. It's hard to do in a best of 7, but Asia Manji seem to be doing it the right way right now.
Yeah, and being that it is now overtime and a minute in at that, I cannot believe that Maxiu has just made the shot now. They take the first game with just an enormous shot. Maxiu was well upfield. 40 came through, tried to bump him, but it just wasn't enough.
160 Ks for that one. And for our American audience too, that's 100 miles per hour. Incredibly fast pinch. No possibility of it being defended. So Alke GGs had a little trouble in game 1, but still managed to take the win regardless.
I'm curious as to how nervous that was making Alke. I mean, they haven't lost a game all season so far, and to lose that to Asia Manji, the 8th seed here, that would have been pretty massive for them, and even bigger for Asia Manji, you have to say.
Oh no, I'm not looking forward to these highlights. The side post and the crossbar highlights of
you have to cheer
game.
for the defender that is the post.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to see it. And for it to end in a pinch like that hurts all the more. But it was 16 shots to 6 in terms of Alke. So they probably were going to always take it in the end, but those 4 or 5 shots they came out early from Asia Manji, I think any one of them could have gone in.
Yeah, absolutely. And had it, of course, we reached overtime, so that would have been the winning goal. Well, I mean, we say that, but I think that Alke maybe was holding back a little there. I do think that had they been pushed to it, they could have made that game even up to the first point as well.
Yeah, they are a team really good at going aggressive. So you're right. If they go down that one goal, they'll probably turn on the gas a little bit more. And, you know, sometimes that's going to lead to them not winning and kind of fall behind. But I feel like they're going to be a team that have a very good comeback potential in games where they do go down early. And even now, off the kickoff, Alke GGs have been able to find a couple of good opportunities in front of them.
It's interesting to watch, though, how Alke are playing this right now, because they, as much as they're known as mechanical players, even freestylers to some point, they usually play towards high mechanics passing plays. And right now, they are just not even looking for each other.
But think about it. They haven't had the chance to get high up on the wall, high up near the roof to make their plays. And that's been getting at them. And now it's just going to be a demo goal, nicely opened up by LCT and finished off at the same time. Nothing heavily mechanical required.
I actually think that's a really exciting goal just because we reached overtime without one last time. That's our second goal all series, and sometimes you just got to take the hype where you can get it.
Yeah, just get whatever you can when the crossbar is the number one player on the pitch. It sometimes puts a small damper on things, and I think there's going to be a lot more goals. That's why we're going to stay pretty chill here and look towards the second goal that should be coming from one of these two teams in this game. I'm not expecting to have another low-scoring affair as LCT. It's crossbar number 8.
Insane work on the save there, though. I mean, that should really, by the look of it to me, have been barred in. And they forced the issue pretty well there. Reese, a big shot on goal as well. And Kevin comes up with the goal, with the save there. But I'm looking at Dan here for the man, you know. Dan is the man, and he's stepped up in defense for Asia Manji multiple occasions already.
Oh, for sure. And you got to think about this. These Asia Manji players, not even well known whatsoever, especially Dan and Kevin. We'll just combine them into Devon at this point. A big shout out to Sarnix Devon, of course. But it's crazy that they're putting this much of a fight up against Alke, that they made the top 8. 40 Mueller has been around the scene, but not the most known player around. And there's not a single team in the region that's confident against Alke. And they're the 8th seed right now, putting up a fight.
Yeah, it's incredible that they were able to really come and put a fight against any of the top 8, but they qualified with some difficulties, but qualified nonetheless. And I think that is well above what anybody was expecting out of Asia Manji, but LCT drops that down from the ceiling for the second.
And even if you're not mechanically on fire on a given day, you have to respect LCT's ability to double that one. That's what forced Dan on the ground. He thought that second one was going to come in, and it was very, very costly to make that decision. Alke now finding that second goal and may even be able to, like 1&E, take a steam ahead from there.
It's going to be hard for Asia Manji eventually in this series, I think, to find that steam, and I don't look forward to that point because I'm really enjoying watching what they're doing right now. I mean, they are standing up. They're showing why they deserve to be here, and I don't think anybody's doubting that right now, despite the fact that they're playing a lot of ground game compared to Alke at the very least. They are doing well.
You said that at the start of the series. I mean, we're going to see Asia Manji play a lot of ground game. And that worked so well in game 1 because Alke were also struggling to get it in the air. But now they're finding passes like this. They're getting off the roof a lot more. They're setting it out right in front of the net. Will go wide. But it's Alke trying to counter the ground game of Asia Manji, and it's working.
LCT towards net, but an easy save there from 40. It's surprising to me as well how little pressure Alke are keeping up. They're quite happy to default back to defense, and I think that's largely to do with what their aim is here. You know, they are looking to not drop a game, and that lends itself to a very, very defensive playstyle.
It's very interesting too because I mean, Max, this week in an interview, described his team as rats. You know, they're the 3 rats for a reason. Mech rats, more specifically, trying to just go for the ball, play as mechanical as possible, throw everything at it, and know that they'll win off individual skill. But we're seeing maybe another dimension to them here as they're playing a little bit more thoughtful, a little bit more controlled, and it's working out. They still haven't been scored against.
I'm glad to see some good shots coming out of Asia Manji while the defense is holding up for Alke. Asia Manji are standing up and putting good plays out, putting threat onto Alke, and Alke, I do think, have been worried at least once. LCT, great little recovery to take that one to net.
Oh yeah, managing to get underneath there because he got bumped by 40, turns upside down, recovers himself with a jump back to the ground. Actually a lot harder than it looks too, especially off a bump. So very, very impressive from LCT.
That's where those mechanics come in. You know, I mean, it's not all high aerial play. If you can recover very, very well, you can be the fastest player to a ball the vast majority of the time, and mechanics support that very, very well. Dan, a good pass in, but 40 won't be able to put one away, and as a result, 0 goals to Asia Manji in game 2 again, as Alke GGs take 3.
Well, you know what's interesting is I've seen LCT do that maneuver on OCE on 120 ping. However, if he was bumped, he wouldn't be able to react in time. Now that he's on those low ping servers, now the APAC South get to be part of RLCS, he actually gets to show what is truly capable of. Very awesome to see. Alke GG, of course, playing very solid across the board. LCT, as mentioned, getting that hat-trick at the same time.
9 shots again. The differential to Asia Manji's 3 is absolutely massive. Kevin standing up this time for the save game, though. Dan was so good on that last game, and the quality of the saves he put out surprised me, but Kevin was all over it this time. I think that comes down to the fact that Alke's shots, a lot of the ones that were on target at the very least, were fairly easy to save.
Yeah, I mean, it was very different from game one, where it felt like Asia Manji were tricking Alke almost in front of the net and finding small openings, and most importantly, taking individual members out of the play from Alke himself. So, you know, when you've got good individual players, if you can disrupt them, if you can beat out one player, then all of a sudden it's so much more difficult for them to understand their positioning and defense.
I think a big winning factor in that one for Alke was just the speed. I mean, they were all over everything. As soon as they got possession, not only were they able to be at the ball fast, they were able to then send the ball fast and chase it. I mean, when you can have possession still and you're traveling with the ball at 100k an hour, that becomes very dangerous against anyone.
And they've been good at the dunks too. I mean, they had that 160k dunk in game number one, and they had LCT getting a good dunk in this one too. They're kind of understanding their opponent's positioning and where they need to hit the ball, and reacting really well to what their opponents are doing, which can often be a problem when you are nervous. If Asia Manji may be nervous, you start getting in your own head and just focusing on where the ball is and forget your opponents.
I also think that particularly in Asia right now, the meta is winning 50s, you know, and players are starting to understand that very, very quickly. Nobody more so than Team Alke. Their 50s are very, very good. They understand the hitboxes of their cars and how a ball is going to respond to that so well.
And that's why in the past we've seen so many international superstars break out from ones. Your Fairy Peak, your K-Dop, your Kuxir, even Scrub Killer, because their 50s game is so good, because that is, I mean, you only have to focus on one other player. You have to have that good positioning, and you have to be able to win those 50s or you get scored on. So maybe we don't see that here from Alke, but the philosophy is the same. You need to be able to win those 50s. You need to have good spacing, and it seems that Alke has that down pat.
Yeah, absolutely. And while saying that, Asia Manji is standing up to them pretty well. I mean, way better than I think the 8th seed here should have. I mean, I think we're probably going to have predicted the game score pretty well. I still think this is going to be that 4-0. I think they're chasing it, and they know that that's achievable, and it's a good choice by them to be trying to go that far. But regardless of that, you don't expect to see the 8th seed come in and really give it to the top team in the region, really show that they can actually compete at that higher level.
And that ground game as well is advantaging them in that they're also not overcommitting, they're not getting into a rough spot, and when you do panic, you can just get behind the ball because it's already right in front of you, so you can at least guarantee a 50. They're not giving up much possession of the ball. It is a great strategy. It's only unfortunate that Alke feel like they have the skill to be able to manage that, the individual skill to turn the game back into their favor, just like right now, getting this ball up into the air. Good save out from Dan.
And it is a little fortunate for Asia Manji that Alke is probably one of the teams that choosing that ground game is going to work best against too. So giving them a little opportunity, but what a redirect from Maxu very early in this to be showing such mechanics.
LCT up to that ball fast, but a redirect from inside, inversing the ball into the Asia Manji net, and it only took 17 seconds.
17 seconds is crazy to be up and that confident that quickly. I don't know if Alke was just warming up the first two games, but they want to do something big here, and they're already well on their way. That's the second goal in.
Well, it seems that we might be seeing a series where the goals get higher and higher every single game. This is a very fast start here for Alke. Very confident off the kickoff as well.
Yeah, and Asia Manji really haven't had a chance to show themselves this game. It's been so quick, these first two goals, that the first one was such an insane shot that You can't really expect the defense of the 8th seed to stand up to a shot like that, but that one there, maybe a little bit more questioning, but still just so little time for them to get their heads in this game and turn around and do anything about things.
It's also been interesting to see LCT be the real standout player here for Alke, because often we see Max take that forward step the most. So you know that LCT is feeling it when he's just absolutely blasting goal after goal.
Yeah, so Maxu, a good center again. These guys find each other so well, and it's part of the passing plays I expect and the gameplay I expect out of Alke, but it is really being hampered by that ground play style. A good save again from Dan. He does stand up to a lot of these shots very well, and we saw Kevin do the same, but they need to combine those efforts. If they want to get a goal in here somewhere, they need to not only defend, they need somebody on that to chase it out and put pressure on and hold that pressure. You can put that pressure even onto Alke.
I mean, Dan's been a miracle worker. Let's face it. I mean, some of the situations he's been in have been for sure goals that he's turned into at least a scenario where Asia Manji are not out of the game in those situations, or even now. But it is getting rougher and rougher because there's so many opportunities in front of this goal. Max Yu almost just falling on top of that ball to put it in. And Asia Manji caught in a difficult position as LCT goes flying. A win there by 40. An opening. Get it in. No!
Oh! That is crushing. Still an opportunity, though. It's in front of net, but nobody came back for that. They sent themselves into that play with so much of themselves that they couldn't turn around and try again. Dan getting a good flick there as well, actually, but the mechanics of Asia Manji just not up to standard here yet.
That hurts. Game one, they should have scored a goal. That was wide open. I've seen some huge misses, mostly from CJ in my time. And now we've seen another big one from Asia Manji here. And you know what? That's starting to lead towards a potential perfect sweep from Alke. They still haven't been scored on in this series.
That's a good center from 40 years. Anybody there? No. It's hard to have that confidence that the pass is going to make its way center when you know how good Alke are at cutting that off, at getting there so much faster than maybe you are capable of as well. That is so daunting, but they have to try to force that confidence. Fake it if you need to. Fake it until you make it.
A bit of a double commit from Asia Manji probably slowed down that offense and hurt their chances of scoring a goal, as Alke's defense is just solid up from being able to make those individual saves as well. Though a miss now, pass out to Dan isn't going to really help out Asia Manji here too, and a great clear mechanically. This ball just gets sent over the Asia Manji head when they're thinking that the ball will spill out to them.
It's interesting to see that Asia Manji have had a lot more attack, though, since Fortimula has opted to be in defense a lot more. I think they were relying on him for the aggression, but they need to play it as a team.
Oh, Max was trying to fake that one, and it ends up getting well read by Kevin, 97, and there's a chance here for Asia Manji. Oh, no! Another one off the post, number 9 for the series.
The pain in my heart is unreal right now. Asia Manji, that's so crushing to watch them get so close. Not once, not twice, but 3 times in this series. But they're not done yet. There's 25 seconds left in this one, and still at least one more game left to make a shot count. LCT passes that in, and Maxi will not be able to take it. You have to assume that with 12 seconds left on this, it's all over here. And Alke might not even be able to clear out in time to make another goal.
And Maxiu, he's going to have an attempt of his own as LCT also goes off the roof. He may have even been able to save a goal if it was on target. Alke GG, another game win. And we're in a crazy position. There's been so few perfect sweeps in all of RLCS history, and APAC South are 1 game away from having it on their 2nd ever day.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge. But I do think that because they're so new, that's what's opened up this opportunity. You know, I mean, there's been one team way ahead for so long. Now that gap is going to close so quickly. This might even be the only split that they get the opportunity to come in and do this. So they have to take that opportunity while they can.
Man, Dan, the goal-saving man. He's got 6 on the board. No one else sitting in net. And he's been doing that all series long. We talked about Savior of the Season earlier, and I thought, you know, it was already pegged in, but he's been really farming those. Great to see him coming in and giving some credit somewhere. Unfortunate. It's actually so painful that Asia Manji haven't scored a goal because they deserve at least 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would argue that they deserve all 3. They were so close, particularly that last one that came off of the post. I mean, 1 pixel difference and that bounces in off of that post.
It's also been hard for them because, well, Alke have been able to get these early goals, the kickoff goal right from the start, the follow-up as well. And that's got to be pretty dispiriting here. I want to see the best we've got from Asia Manji. I want to see them playing fast. I want to see them try their best to play Alke's game and see if they can learn from that situation.
And they almost do. Kevin off the bat displaying mechanics I didn't expect out of him. Playing the high aerial game that we are looking for out of Alke and doing so well. Unfortunately for him, just too much defense on the backboard.
It's being cleared out by Asia Manji, and they are attempting it. Dan there goes for that high to redirect, and it doesn't pan out from now. Paul missed touch to the corner as he was potentially looking for that shot, but still an opportunity here for Alke as they're moving forward. Bollery's taking it slow on the ground game that felt like Asia Manji's domain. LCT coming in. Bollery's had that every day of the week, but LCT, he tried to take it for himself.
You know what's brilliant about watching some of these veteran players out of Asia is the fact that they are such long-standing veterans. I mean, you look at RLCS in any other region, there are so few competitors left from the beginning of Rocket League. You can near count them on one hand, and it's amazing to see that these guys have stuck around in a region that didn't have RLCS for this long, and they finally get to see it.
Was really demoralizing for the APAC region, and now it is the best timeline and the best year of Rocket League, the biggest year of Rocket League we'll ever have, or we've ever had, you know, yet.
Yeah. In
terms of 2021-22 season, so Onyx really pumping up the jam as Alke GGs as well. They're looking for this sort of perfect sweep. They're looking to perfectly sweep the tournament, and they're looking towards that major in the first split.
And it would be the first major of the first true World Series, wouldn't it? I mean, so many regions brought into this, and that gives them some opportunities to perform as well. LCT trying to perform, but Bollery's is the one that has to put it away.
That's a second good dunk as well from Bollery's. It feels like he just understands where these touches are going to go. He's come in. And 40, he really wanted to dribble that out, but that's so dangerous.
And a tough pressure on him. He had a player behind and a player in front. Where do you go? You have to make a choice quickly, and unfortunately for him, he just doesn't have that 50 game that we were talking about out of Alke. Their 50-50s are so incredible that you get in that situation, and it's near guaranteed that Alke is going to come out on top.
Oh, you're kidding me. There was somewhat of an open there. It's another miss. And you see this with a lot of teams too that respect their opponents beyond all belief, is that they think that every shot has to be the perfect one. Against Alke, you need to go for that top corner. And I think that usually gets to people rather than just aiming for the middle and hoping that the defense will cater to that pressure. Asia Manji are getting a few licks in, but nothing that's truly testing the Alke defense just yet, as a breakaway here could lead to something. A chance here for Bollery's, but well shut down by Asia Manji.
I'm just shocked every time Asia Manji steps up and shows us some really half-decent mechanics. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the way they're taking shots right now as far as the rest of the region goes, but it's just such a tough game against Alke. you play those mechanics right, and a lot of teams would be very tripped up from, especially when you don't really see them often from Asia Manji. It can be very surprising, but Alke are just so used to those mechanics themselves, they can turn it around and score again like this.
I mean, that's a ridiculous angle for Max as well. Balleries pulled out to allow him to have it, and they expected that would be a pass play. Somehow Max has found like a 5-degree angle right there.
Yeah. A doomsday and a half off of the backboard, and did find it perfectly. LCT is actually going to go back now, and that might let Asia Manji push up. I think it might have just been a bait, though, to open up their net, and it does work. LCT finds it. It's a slow one, but positioned well, and just gets it in before the defenders get back there.
They're having a lot of fun. That was a double pre-jump. Max up very early, and Balleries was up at the same time as Max. That's why he didn't get any contact with the ball, but you can tell they're really going for it, and they're comfortable that they can win this game and win the series without dropping a single one.
Yeah, it's unlikely that this is going to be the team to push Alke to pick up their training regime, but you know what? Asia Manji, despite a 0-goal scoreline, they have shown absolutely promise, and they have shown why they're 8th seed at the very least. I mean, they could come back in and get that again. The way that they're performing while not being able to take anything on Alke is consistent.
Very, very consistent. However, Asia Manji, I still think that they have meant to have multiple goals through this series. They may score one, and I hope that they do, because being perfect swept is never something that you want to happen to yourself. You'll never really live it down, especially, you know, these players are going to be talking to them to each other on the regular, and you want to be able to make fun of each other. And there's going to be a point in time where Max or LCT say, you didn't score a single goal against me. And that's looking like the case. 3 seconds left on the clock. It's not going to happen. It's a perfect sweep by Alke.
Yeah, and they continue the run of those. They are really looking for some kind of miracle here to bring them through with no losses throughout the entire season at this rate, by the looks of it. They really, really want every win they can take, but yeah, I actually was looking to see if they would give them the respect and maybe even put in an own goal right at the last second once the game was secured, but no such luck for Asia Manji.
And Asia Manji aren't a set of pushovers. I mean, they took down some solid level teams. Scuba Drivers in their first match. I mean, even Pineapple Cake yesterday had some good hype behind them, mostly from you know, in your predictions, but